I consider myself among the biggest Minnesota Vikings fans out there. But in the bigger picture, I am truly a football fan as a whole. I have went to great lengths to watch football. In fact, I made a video last summer about how I began watching the CFL. I needed to get my football fix, even if it meant cheering on the abysmal Montreal Alouettes that I should have never picked to be my favorite team in the CFL. So when the AAF came along, I was very excited to get more of that football fix in the spring, in the NFL offseason here in America, with rules that are more similar to the traditional NFL and with other changes that I actually consider to be serious improvements. That's why about over a month ago I made a video on the AAF and why I was so excited. And here we are over midway through the regular season, partway through week 6 of the 10-week regular season. I must say I have been highly satisfied by the AAF. Now, I did not make the same mistake that I made with the Montreal Alouettes of selecting a terrible favorite team. Instead, the San Diego Fleet have lived up to my expectations and my second favorite team, simply because they have purple jerseys. The Atlanta Legends have kicked things into gear here in the second half of the season, actually put together 2 wins. We've had some dramatic improvements in what was a promising league here as time has went on. One of the things that really concerned me early in the league's existence was just how bad Atlanta and Memphis were, and after changes at quarterback and a few other key positions, these teams have actually became somewhat relevant. Granted, the fact that Memphis has only won 1 game, at least they've looked competitive, while Atlanta has not necessarily looked like a playoff contender, but the Iron are simply trying to work themselves out of playoff contention, then potentially open up the gate for Atlanta. Early on this year, the AAF saw games that had huge spreads. I mean, that first game, the opening day between Orlando and Atlanta, was like 40-6 or something insane. And you got this idea that maybe there would be a huge difference in the skills of each team. And it turned out that wasn't actually true. The Arizona Hotshots, who were the team that had the most former NFL players on, did not, despite the Vegas odds, turn out to be necessarily the best team in the league, as they now sit around 500. And then there were other teams the first couple weeks that felt like all they could do was score field goals. Maybe that was because, again, I was watching the San Diego Fleet, who seemed to be very keen on simply settling for field goals. But I will say the quality of play and the quality of the games have most definitely improved by week 6 here. And I expect it to continue as we go into the playoffs. Now, of course, there are things that are clearly not at NFL level. The end of the Orlando game last night and the offsides jump, I feel like an NFL player, or at least an NFL starter, would not have committed that the way the left guard did, and ultimately costing his team the game. But while we can nitpick all we want, I do feel like this is many, many steps above what we saw from the United Football League or the Arena Leagues or even NFL Europe. The presentation of this is superb. I really like the way it integrates with the app. I do wish that they would improve the game on the app. I would love to do the predicting thing. It is still out of sync with the live broadcast from what I've seen, and trying to play it with the little moving people thing on the app is simply too hard for me in general. So I would love to see the kinks worked out on that, and I would love to see actual traditional fantasy football be implemented in the app, though I assume that's something that would definitely take until next season before it could be put in. I would also like to see the official broadcasts in the app, though I assume that a licensing issue has prevented that. However, the raw footage that's shown in the app without the announcers that is available for free to watch was originally criticized because it did not have a scoreboard on. They've since updated that, and it's really proven to me that the league is willing to listen to the fans and actually implement the things that they want to see. The one unfortunate thing I will mention with the AAF that I've really been sad to see has came up at this point in the season is the legal battle that it's put itself in with the XFL, which I believe the XFL brought onto the league. Obviously, this is a publicity thing. It's two leagues going at it. And ultimately not working together in the way I hoped. My hope was the AAF becomes a big success this year. I think it's definitely on track to do that. I know they haven't gotten as many people in the stands as they wanted to maybe, but they've gotten a lot more people watching on TV than they ever anticipated, and that is spectacular. Then my hope was that next year the XFL could coexist with the AAF. Both leagues could exist, and by the end of the XFL's first season, the AAF's second season, the leagues would be able to come together and merge, maybe even at the end of the XFL's first season, play a championship game between the champions of both leagues, and ultimately establish a conglomerate, a joined league where maybe the XFL is one division and the AAF is another division, in the same way the NFC and the AFC are separate entities within the same league. I was hoping that maybe they could come together and they could merge to create this uniformed sort of spring professional football league, if you will. So I'm very happy with the way the AAF has turned out. I'm very excited to see the remainder of the season and the championship game, which I think will be a blast, because I honestly could not tell you what teams will be in the playoffs even as of right now. My only cinch to be in the playoffs for sure is Orlando. And besides that, I think that the Western Division is completely up for grabs yet, and the Eastern Division, I don't think the Iron are going to hold on to that spot. I think Atlanta has a reasonable chance of creeping in and grabbing that second position. So it'll be interesting to see how things turn out. Thank you guys for watching. My name is Bailey, and I will see you in the next video.